What do you think about darkness? Do you enjoy when it gets darker earlier? Or do you feel a little bit frightened, a little bit lost, a little bit tired? And what do you feel about the darkness of your soul? Hi, I'm Veronica Lee. This is your weekly transformational forecast for the week of November 7th, 2022. We just set our clocks back here in California and all over the world. I know that the UK set theirs back last weekend. And one of the things that happens is that our bodies suddenly experience darkness in a new way versus gradually. Obviously, as we move past the equinox, we move into fall, and it starts to get a little bit darker earlier and earlier. But when we set the clocks back, those of us who did daylight savings and are going back to standard time, suddenly it's just darker sooner, and we weren't really expecting it. Even though mentally we may have set our minds to what was going to happen, there's a little bit of a disconnect with the body. That being said, what I find very interesting is that we are also in the middle of the Scorpio cycle, with it being, early November here. And Scorpio is sort of a master of darkness. What I've been seeing with my clients recently is there is an invitation to explore the inner darkness and or areas in our lives which we might define as dark. So what that might feel like or look like is, I spoke last week about feeling a bit melancholy, or even noticing the thinning veils and communicating with the other side. For some people, that can be kind of scary and a little bit dark. For others, it's intriguing and interesting and a little bit mysterious, right? And when I speak to exploring our own darkness, oftentimes it is going to be feeling feelings that are very uncomfortable, thoughts that we have, experiencing or re-experiencing past traumas. It's not that we want to dwell on them or to wallow in the darkness of them necessarily, but to explore them, to recognize these are simply aspects of the whole, and that we are whole beings, including these areas that might feel a little bit constrictive, dark, afraid. And it's not to say that we have to overcome all of it with the light or our light, but to simply recognize it as part of a greater cycle. Specifically, what I'm seeing is when we go through this process, which, if we think about our seasons, they are cyclical. Each year we come back to fall and winter. Each year we, emerge from this darkness into the light. In our own, biography, in our own little narrative here, we may do this on a regular basis more than just seasonal. It might be, this week I'm feeling a little bit darker than last week, or perhaps it might even be hour to hour, right? So one of the things that's happening as we move into this place with the energies this week is to learn to have more compassion for ourselves and to find that place of inner sort of anchoring that will help us face and be with this dark experience as it sort of feels like it might encompass us, and to observe and be with it with neutrality, but also with presence. So presence isn't always going to be neutral. In other words, if you're feeling quite dark, if you're feeling really down, to really kind of recognize and be and honor those feelings, be with and honor those feelings and with exactly where you are. But again, it's not to stay in it and to, create your own little sanctuary and never, emerge, but to instead recognize it's part of this greater cycle. The last thing I want to offer in this respect has to do with finding support. Again, there's my dog, always part of our weekly forecast here, is to recognize who are the people in your life that you can really share who you are with, that you can share your feelings, these darker aspects that feel a little bit uncomfortable alone, or that can be that, anchor or tether for you so that you can pull yourself out more easily, right? It's not to depend on somebody and make them like work so hard to pull you out of it. But who are those people that you trust that you can say, you know, I'm feeling this, let's connect, let's have lunch, let's just have a phone call, you know, whatever that might be for you. So with that, again, always encouraging gentleness, encouraging courage to face whatever is welling up that is feeling quite dark, and to completely honor exactly where you are. Until next week.